Agricola, a medium weight board game in which players are playing as farmers, trying to grow their farms and keep their families alive. Each round, players will take it in turns to place a worker on the board. Depending on where they place their worker, they'll get to either gather some resources or complete an action using previously collected resources. After a differing amount of rounds, there's harvest, at which point your animals will breed, crops will ripen, and your family will want feeding. If you're unable to feed your family with animals, crops, or gathered food, you'll have to take some begging tokens, which are worth negative points. At the end of 14 rounds, whichever player has the most points is the winner. So what do I like about Agricola? Well, I've played it at all sorts of different player counts, and I really like how the game feels very, very different depending on the number of players. When you're playing solo, you can basically optimize every single move, and you can plan in advance when is exactly the right time to do this and to do that to grow your farm. Then when you're playing 2-player, and then even more so at 3-player, you get more decisions to make. Things like, okay, should I take the 3 wood now, knowing that I actually need 5 wood in order to extend my house, but if I wait until next round when there's 6 wood there, somebody else may have taken the wood before me. And then, of course, when you're playing at 4-player, I find that the occupation cards and the improvements become much, much more valuable. If there's a card that allows me to collect resources whenever somebody else goes to a certain spot, well, that's more valuable when we're playing 4-player because somebody is more likely to do that. The game feels very different at different player counts, and I really, really like that element of it. But my biggest dislike by far is that whatever the player count, this is a very stressful game to play. Every round, every turn that you take, there's about 10 different things that you want to do. But of course, you don't have 10 meeples, and it never feels like you're able to do even half the things that you want to do. So you have to make decisions and you have to prioritize. Now, I will point out that for some people, that decision making, that prioritizing, is exactly what they like about Agricola. But for me personally, if you were to ask me what do I enjoy when I play not just Agricola but any kind of board game, I would say I like seeing things progress. I like the sense of accomplishment, the sense of achievement when you accomplish something. And of course, I like to mess things up for my opponent. But in Agricola, I don't really get that sense of accomplishment because I have to leave the animal husbandry as just good enough so that I have time and resources to start planting some crops. Things progress very, very slowly, and also I don't need to mess things up for my opponents because the game is doing that for me. Back to the plus side though, that stress that I was just talking about there, that is at least extremely thematic. In real life, it isn't easy looking after some animals. You can't really look after animals excellently and grow crops at the same time. That's very, very difficult to do, whilst also building a family and extending your house and things like that. You can't do everything all at once in reality, and that is something that the game very much conveys. Also, the choices that you make in this game are, again, very, very thematic to what a farmer around that time would be making. So the game, the stress, everything involved in it is very, very thematic. It's just not necessarily what I look for when I'm playing a board game. And the other negative about Agricola as a board game is it very much lends itself to analysis paralysis. Because of that stress, because of the importance of those decisions, you have to make each move count in this game. And it's a very, very unforgiving game if you were to make a bad or a suboptimal move early in the game, or even later in the game as well. It's very, very unforgiving. And because of that, that lends itself to, let's just say, giving people a little bit of extra time to think and do their next move. It can take a bit of a while. In conclusion, I would give this game a score of 3 out of 5 bananas. It is a fun game. I do like the way that it makes you think and the puzzle that it's asking you to solve. And I really like how that puzzle is different at different player counts as well. But for me, it's a little bit too stressful. You know, when I'm playing it, I do find myself thinking, oh yeah, this is supposed to be fun. I'd love to know what you guys think about Agricola, though. It is very much the founding father, you might say, of worker placement games. At least it popularised them to the next level. So I would love to know what you guys think about this game down in the comments. Has it stood the test of time for you? Are there now better worker placement games that you prefer? Do let me know down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. But in the meantime, I shall see you in the next one. Take care, goodbye, and good luck with that farm. Goodbye.